I've been thinking. When life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Make life take the lemons back. Get mad! I don't want your damn lemons! What am I supposed to do with these? Demand to see life's manager. Make life rue the day it thought it could give Cave Johnson lemons. Do you know who I am? I'm the man who's gonna burn your house down with the lemons. I'm gonna get my engineers to invent a combustible lemon that burns your house down.
Burning people. He says what we're all thinking.
Howdy folks and welcome. Today we'll be discussing one of the best game franchises of all time, and why Portal 2 will never be perfect, if there is such a thing. If you haven't watched my Portal 1 video, I'd highly recommend doing so before fully starting this one. If you know about Portal and are excited to go back to Portal 2, then let's get started. To defend my point on why I think the Portal series is one of the greatest franchises of all time, we'll have to go through Portal 2's main story and look for the amazing intricacies that envelop the testing facilities. Portal 2 opens up to a beautiful menu. Already I'm entranced by what I'm seeing. A destroyed Gladys with her light slowly turning off and on. This was so spooky knowing that Gladys was still alive after the events of Portal 1, and perfectly sets up the start to the game. We awake after
You have been in suspension for 99999
and are hailed down by Wheatley, another design win. Wheatley looks exactly like Gladys's intelligence orbs, or whatever you call them, so immediately I did not trust this cyberball, even if he had a British accent.
Just say yes. Okay, what you're doing there is jumping. You just jumped. But never mind. Say apple. Apple. Okay, you know what? That's close enough. Just hold tight.
This was a great set piece to start off the game. One of the things Portal 2 gets completely right is the sense of scale. If you didn't realize how big Aperture was, you will at the start, and you only go further down the rabbit hole. This sense of scale lends itself to the story building and the sheer amazement at coming back to the testing facilities. Seeing the overgrowth within the once primed and neat testing chambers was a stark contrast to the first game. It visually solidified the time change from the first game and made familiar areas seem new. Another purely fantastic part of this game is the writing. I couldn't stop laughing at times, and replaying this as an adult compared to when the game first came out 12 years ago is an experience I would not pass up on.
Science Enrichment Center. We are currently experiencing technical difficulties due to circumstances of potentially apocalyptic significance beyond our control. However, thanks to emergency testing protocols, testing can continue. These pre-recorded messages will provide instructional and motivational support so that science can still be done, even in the event of environmental, social, economic, or structural collapse.
Already in the first 15 minutes of the game, you can see the craftsmanship of the developers at work. But nothing is heavy-handed or grandiose. Somehow they've made everything that's transpired seem real. Getting back to testing was such a fun feeling, and starting in the same room as the first game was a great throwback. I won't harp on it too much because obviously the testing facility has changed drastically since we've been here, but I truly think some of the level designs and art using this motif of nature reclamation and decay are used to extreme effect. After the first two chambers, I had a slight feeling of dread. The elevators kept taking me down. This was another great touch, having the player descending deeper and deeper into the labs. It fits the scale and creates interesting lore which sort of gets explained further into the game. For now, I consider the levels without both portals to be tutorials. This was interesting not having Gladys talk us through, and made the puzzles much more visual, taking more of the player to solve it, at least for me. You can tell things have gone to hell, yet I love that the facility still wants to do one thing, and that's test. It's what it's built for. We meet up with Wheatley again, and I don't trust him, even with his hilarious dialogue.
Too high, isn't it really, that? Alright, going on 3 just gives you too much time to think about it. Let's go on 1 this time. Okay, ready? 1. Catch me, catch! Ow!
Oh no.
Yes, hello, no, we're not stopping.
Don't make eye contact, whatever you do.
No, thanks, we're good. Appreciate it.
Keep moving, keep moving.
It looks like we have two choices to escape. Either die standing here, or go through Gladys's chamber. Obviously, we're going in there. This was one of those video game aha moments. Not only are the game's graphics superb and crisp, but coming back to this iconic moment from the first game is a great storytelling setup. You don't need Wheatley's worried murmurings to be scared about this place. Now, I don't know if this was intentional by Wheatley or not, and maybe we'll find out later, but trying to find the escape pod, we inadvertently wake up Gladys, and oh boy, she is not happy.
Oh no! No, 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 no! Oh no, 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 no! Ah!
Okay, look, we both said a lot of things that you're going to regret. But I think we can put our differences behind us. For science.
It was nice to have her talking to us again though. It was getting too quiet. Anyways, with all the destruction and decay to the facilities, seeing Gladys come back online and start cleaning the place was a fantastic detail, and somehow horrifying. Just like in System Shock with Shodan, you as the player feel helpless against this seemingly omnipresent being. We continue on and go through more test chambers. I really enjoyed almost every puzzle in Portal 2. Some were excellent with fun new mechanics, some were extremely hard, and my old brain had to look up a guide, but none were mediocre. And that goes to everything in this game. Nothing about Portal 2 seems slapped on. Each level feels curated like an art museum that you have to navigate with physics. And you'll be navigating a lot. Portal 2 is substantially longer than its predecessor. I clocked in around 15 hours, single player alone. I know there is a vibrant multiplayer community for this game and some insanely amazing community made maps, but for today, we'll be focusing on the main story. Anyways, I was almost content to test forever until jailbreak.
Hey, buddy, I'm speaking in an accent that is beyond her range of hearing.
Look, Metal Ball, I can hear you.
Run! I don't need to do the voice. Run! 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 Come on!
I really enjoyed this set piece. Not only is it another intelligent way of displaying how big the facility is, but also to cut the flow of the game in such a way that technically you're still solving puzzles, but outside of the confinements of the chambers, which is a great contrast to what the player has experienced so far. There is another sequence that I truly love. When Wheatley is guiding us through the old turret manufacturing line, I mean, look at the lighting of this game. For 12 years ago, I am blown away. It truly reminded me of Fear in the way that Wheatley's light moves around and casts shadows. To be honest, everything in this game looks amazing, and the small animation details are exquisite. Saving the turret from the line also had weird emotional resonance. It's a turret. Why did I want to save it? I also love seeing the testing for the turrets. This was another fantastic touch in adding detail to the levels and also making the insane world feel lived in. We're able to stop the turret line by switching out the defunct turret with the correct one. Major corporate sabotage. We continue on and find 14 potato batteries. There was one that had an interesting battery that was still running, that looked like a combine light? I don't know. There's also a potato that grew to an enormous size, and is that the main cause of all the vegetation? No, right? But I couldn't find anything on it. Reaching the neurotoxin generator was another whoa moment. We've had to deal with this gas for 2 games, and to see it in person was outstanding. Talk about lived in, we're hitting all these amazing callbacks, and with Wheatley's dialogue and puzzle solving, I was completely immersed. I finally figured out how to cut the Akira style appendages off the neurotoxin and get flung into a transport tube. Again, wow for scale and for comedy.
No neurotoxin, no turret, she'll never know what hit her. Hold on, because I might not have thought this next part completely. Ah! Well, I'm going the wrong way! Get to her! I'll find you!
This was great seeing our turrets come to help us, and for some reason I couldn't stop laughing at the fact that one of the turrets is packaged. It was also a great twist seeing Gladys out of her element, and even though I had my hesitations about Wheatley, we start the process of switching cores. Being the stalemate associate but not being trained did not stop me from oh man, I was not expecting this. Again, somehow I feel bad for a robot. Very odd. We will soon learn with our real AI overlords, never trust a robot. Wheatley quickly turns evil, yet is so incompetent that he fails to end us. Can we catch a break? Anyways, Wheatley does give us the best gift of all, Gladys as a potato. And I love how Gladys is programmed to talk trash to anyone, and we learn that Wheatley was made to be the dumb part of the neural AI network. Man, that must hurt. I love this fall and the meter signs you see. They dug deep and you can feel it. Gladys lambasts you for giving Wheatley the keys to the city.
But since we're not busy other than that, here's a couple of facts. He's not just a regular moron. He's the product of the greatest minds of a generation, working together with the express purpose of building the dumbest moron who ever lived.
We finally make it to the end in a dramatic fashion. We see a Raven picking up Gladys and taking her somewhere. This felt a lot like Half-Life 2, maybe the Ravens from Ravenholm, or what felt like the mix of debris and rubble from the Combine in City 17. Obviously we're in some cave, but I like how far off the beaten path we are. It gives the game a richer ambiance and vibe. We soon discover that this is no ordinary mine, but the original testing facilities for Aperture Science under their founder, Cave Johnson. Cave Johnson is expertly played by J.K. Simmons, an acclaimed actor who lends his voice to so many iconic roles.
Welcome, gentlemen, to Aperture Science. Astronauts, war heroes, Olympians, you're here because we want the best, and you are it. So, who is ready to make some science test the repulsion gel today? Just follow the blue line on the floor. Those of you who volunteered to be injected with praying mantis DNA, I've got some good news and some bad news. Bad news is we're postponing those tests indefinitely. Good news is we've got a much better test for you. Fighting an army of mantis men. Pick up a rifle and follow the yellow line. You'll know when the test starts.
Well, Mr. Simmons absolutely nails who Cave Johnson is, and gives us a character in the Half-Life universe that we rarely see, if at all. Someone who's charismatic, outgoing, tough, and absolutely crazy. What I mean is, most characters in Half-Life you've known only live in complete chaos, war, or human slavery. Obviously, no one will be that chipper or gun-ho, so hearing Cave, this boisterous, insane man, was a great departure from what we usually get. It was also interesting knowing that he was the reason for the portal gun and Aperture being the owners of the Borealis for Half-Life 2 Episode 3. It makes these interactions feel so special. I think now is a good time to bring up why this game is not perfect, and you might not agree with my thought process. As I mentioned before, Portal is connected to the Half-Life universe. You can even see awards Aperture has gotten by being number 2, and you know Cave Johnson hates the Black Mesa scientists through audio recordings.
Likely used one of the many products we invented, but that other people have somehow managed to steal from us. Black Mesa can eat my bankrupt...
Sir, the testing?
Right.
So what about all of that makes Portal 2 not perfect? Well, I do believe in the adage nothing is perfect, but Valve had the chance to do it. If you don't want to hear a Half-Life fanboy's disgruntled opinion for a minute, I'd skip ahead, but this is what the video is about. Making Portal 2 and what it is a work of art, plain and simple. What Valve created when they released Half-Life and the stories they've woven together deserve all the praise and respect. However, the fact of the matter is that Valve has no intention of releasing another Portal game, another Half-Life game, and maybe there is a chance of an offshoot somewhere. But playing through Portal 2 having so much fun, I would catch myself going, wait, is this worth it? I could not keep my excitement and hope down, and I know that's on me personally, but you have to understand growing up on Half-Life 2 and delving into that world, it's like watching a TV show that becomes nostalgic just for it to have one season. Sorry, Firefly fans. There are so many inferences, so many connections, blatant or obfuscated, that made me believe back then that those questions would have some answers, and we would continue on in some format or way with the stories of Aperture Science, Black Mesa, Portals, Gordon Freeman. But apart from Half-Life Alyx releasing to only VR, I can't help but talk about the sadness this brings, and unfortunately Mars Portal 2's overall experience. Now, if you have none of that emotional baggage, disregard everything I just said, and I will too, because excluding all of that background, Portal 2 keeps getting better each level. We figure out that Aperture has always been a little bit risky with testing. Cave Johnson's recordings are filled with horrifyingly funny tidbits about the dangers of testing, and I love the Fallout S posters talking about $60 payment to test subjects. There's so much detail and attention to these levels, from the different models and textures to the introduction of the gels. The developers really outdid themselves here. We finally reach up to Gladys, who has been captured by that Raven. I don't understand what the button was underneath her or the noise. Very odd place for a button. Anyways, it's great to have Gladys the potato by our side. Again, it was getting a little too quiet without her. While down here, we also find out that Gladys has the essence of Cave Johnson's assistant, Caroline. And from Portal's wiki, I learned this information that cut audio files would tell the player that it was not her choice to be neurally connected. This messes with Gladys's AI model and she shuts down for a bit. I enjoy how this comes back later on in the game. I also enjoy ascending rather than descending. I don't know if this was a conscious choice, but it felt like it. As we ascend, we also hear Mr. Johnson not doing too well. Obviously, testing can be dangerous. It is really sad to hear him getting worse and more unhinged, but again, it's really meaningful too if you enjoy the lore of the universe.
Now, brain mapping, artificial intelligence. We should have been working on it 30 years ago. I will say this, and I'm going to say it on tape so everybody hears it 100 times a day. If I die before you people can pour me into a computer, I want Carolyn to run this place. Now she'll argue. She'll say she can't. She's modest like that, but you make her. Hell, put her in my computer. I don't care. All right, test's over. You can head on back to your desk.
We finally get out of the salt mine, and again, look how cool this is. I could not believe how amazing the scale and imagery was. We get back to the newer testing chambers to see that Wheatley has completely botched the operation. Gladys, thinking about her own paradox, thinks she will be able to shut down Wheatley. Unfortunately, Gladys still has the power of a potato.
Oh. Hello?
Alright, paradox time. This sentence is false. Don't think about it.
True. I'll go true. Yeah, that was easy. I'll be honest, I might have heard that one before though, sort of cheating.
It's a paradox. There is no answer. Look, this place is going to blow up if I don't get back in my body.
Wheatley informs us that he is addicted to testing. Jokes aside, I thought this was really interesting how the engineers hard-coded feelings into an AI to make it function the way they want it to. Even more interesting is that the AI can overcome that pain. They still feel it, but as you can still see, testing is not always possible or pragmatic. I laughed so much at Wheatley trying to create tests for us and making it seem like everything was dandy. Seeing Aperture with Wheatley makes the days of Gladys being in charge look like the roaring 20s and subsequent early 30s. I know I mentioned it before, but the puzzles never got old. At this point in the game, they were all challenging and rewarding to finish. I did get some help from my friend who is an avid Portal fan too. And this is where Wheatley tries to kill us. So good! I have to make a catchphrase for this. You can even get an achievement by running back and throwing yourself in the pit. I really enjoyed these final sequences because you know things are about to go up in flames. Everything is coming apart. Wheatley is pulling out everything psychologically and physically to stop you, and I was ready for a final boss fight. As a finale, this wasn't the Mona Lisa, but I did enjoy it. Callbacks to the first game and any chance to listen to the cores is well worth it. We dust off our stalemate license and push the button. Oh man, this was cool. Not only seeing the moon after falling about 4,000 meters, but shooting the portal onto it had me in awe. I was also surprised Gladys saved us. I know Caroline is in her somehow, but it still surprised me. I was also happy that Gladys actually thought pragmatically for once to let go. Finally, we have our freedom. And as the game fades to white, where are the answers? See? After 12 years, this still hurts not being able to go back to Aperture. Valve, Gabe Newell, please. I know you have billions of dollars, but let people cook. Let your writers delve in. Let your creators create. I really thank everyone that has put their time and dedication to the Portal series and the Half-Life franchise. Portal 2 is one of the best games I've ever played for its amazing details to its stellar gameplay and outstanding writing. I was so happy to be able to play it and write this to share with everyone. I can only hope one day we will be able to talk about Portal 3 or another game with a 3 at the end. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have the time, check out my other videos. I'm sure you'll find something that you're looking for. Thank you again, and as always, see you next time.